So starting out, I guess, just some win questions. What are some of your guys' most exciting accomplishments in the last 6 months?
You first, Alana.
No, okay. I'll say it. AJ has just become a rock star. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to catch up a little bit, but that's been the biggest win that he has made it so our retail store, which didn't, we did pay attention to, but it was difficult to get to where we are now, I guess. My focus was always just wholesale because that was easy. That was low hanging fruit. That's just what I understand because that's just what I've been doing for years. But the biggest win is that we have a fully pumping, operating retail store. And that's all thanks to AJ.
Huge. I love that.
It is.
Yeah, I mean it's growth in general. I think, celebrating obviously through like mentorship from you guys and like and also, I mean, us as, as a team over here, it's like we kind of knew where we wanted to be, but how to get there was murky, like Alana was saying. So it kind of definitely cleared it up for me and for us to like discuss actual tangible steps and like how to get there. And it doesn't become clear until you do it, and then you realize, oh man, actually this works. Like it's actually moving the needle. And it was, yeah, years of, this is fairly brand new for us, but it's like, even 1 year of like kind of banging your head against the wall will kind of defeat you. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
We knew that there was so much potential because we have such a pumping wholesale business.
Right. Right.
And and then when we would do markets, like we would kill it, but it's just so much effort to do these markets. It takes up, so much time, labor, et cetera, et cetera. I have two like little kids. And so, I've heard you talk about before of like, what are you trading for what? And I was just like, I hate being away from my little kids so much to make like 3 grand and like that this is not worth my time. And now it's like we have this program going and while we're sleeping we're making money.
That's such a beauty. I love that. I mean, just the liberation people get in the freedom and get their time back and quality with family and all that stuff. It just makes it so worth it for me to hear people on that. So that's our whole mission is to help people get liberated and just get to the lifestyles they wanted, get their freedom back, spend more time with their families. So we're super excited, guys. And this is just the beginning too. There's so much more impact that you guys are meant to have that'll come. But AJ and Alana, we're just going over some wins and we're reviewing some of the accomplishments. I'm going to ask a couple more questions on the accomplishment side, and then we'll switch gears in this review to look forward in terms of planning and just goals and where you guys need to be supported to reach your next goals. This will be a bigger ongoing discussion too as we get into January and we're doing rocks and ETO tracking and all this different stuff. But in general, I just wanted to make sure we had this discussion to kind of hear where your guys' heart's at of where you're going in the next 12 months. So, but staying focused, first of all, on the wins thus far and the kind of things you guys are celebrating. I know Alana was mentioning AJ's been a superstar, really helped open up this retail and get it going in
Yeah,
the right direction. And AJ was
really
saying there's
has.
yeah, it's super amazing. His growth, he was saying his growth in general, just through the mentorship, figuring out what works. I mean, he's gone on a whole professional growth curve for himself. You guys knew that there was potential because of all the wholesale stuff that you guys have already done so well. But Alana was saying it's so nice to be able to get back some time and not have to go to these events that are very time intensive to make a little bit of money, and be able to create other channels where the money's coming in, even if we're sleeping and we can still be with family and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but even though I haven't got to see you in our meetings very much, I would love from your perspective, I guess, just to feed into that, what would you say have been some of the most exciting accomplishments of the team in the last 6 months from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered it, and I'll add like color to that, I guess, just from my perspective on it, you know what I mean? It's just been so exciting, and I think all of us have kind of been in this mode of like just throwing things against the wall and seeing what sticks to some degree, because our company has just changed so much in the last few years, from what it was to what it's been. And each year has been this like whole new mountain to climb, and so, we started out with kind of like just launching this line and coming out, growing it, making it kind of become what it is. And I really feel like there was kind of this convergence of like product lines coming into their own this year, you know what I mean? Of it just being really well rounded and there being a lot more variety and having really clear like hero product lines and like, so, other ones, and just being able to kind of see what's working, what's not, and just kind of really coming into its own in that sense as a brand has been so, so cool. And
Yeah.
then, like I know I haven't been as involved on this side of it, but AJ has been keeping us abreast, and we've obviously seen the benefits of it. And that's, I think, just given us a ton of confidence in the sense of like, oh my God, we're resonating, you know what I mean? And this is
Right.
happening. We
Yep.
can do this, and so that's been so exciting. And then I guess one other really like cool development or success thing, and I'm still wanting to discuss this with the team. I was kind of talking to AJ about it a little earlier this morning, is like I was, in the warehouse, like fulfilling orders on this Black Friday sale that was just wildly successful beyond our imagination. We were just not, we thought it would be good. It was way, way better than we expected, and just seeing like there's definitely some synergy there that I'd like to kind of like look at a little further of our customer base that we've definitely clearly been cultivating through everything that Alana did and that we did through all of these markets, through, collaboration partners that we've been working with locally here, and just kind of like building this brand and this certain image as a local Hawaii brand that's really got some authenticity to it, that's got some kind of community roots to it, and I'm seeing that translate on the e-com side, right? I'm seeing like I'm looking at the labels and I'm looking at who is buying it and where they live and their address, and I'm going, wow, this is all correlating, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all kind of really narrowing in on who our customer is and where they're buying, what they're buying. And of course, like that's growing and that's expanding, but that's like, I don't know, an observation I'd love to dig into more and look at more because I just think it's really interesting. So, I mean, for me, yeah, I think I've been on more like warehouse fulfillment, nuts and bolts on the interior side, and this is super exciting to kind of be able to like sink my teeth into and be more involved in the next few months on this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like those are our successes, and I'm really just like excited to kind of look forward at the other stuff. So
Yeah. Man, oh man, that gives us some good stuff. I'm making some notes down here because I do have a question coming up for what we're going to be focused on going forward. So I'm just adding some of those notes down to that section. Such good stuff, guys. We're so proud of you guys. Man, it's just been so cool from Brittany and Jack's perspective and Dan and Rob's perspective. Just want to convey to you guys, just super proud you guys taking that leap. Sometimes it is a little scary when, the wholesale thing works really well, but are we going to resonate with people? Do we really have a broad market adoption across a big place? Can we be outside of Hawaii? Is there a lot of other people that would love what we're doing? All these questions come up, and every
yeah,
solo entrepreneur has to deal with that stuff. And it's so cool and exciting seeing people step into that have done all the hard work of developing a great product and getting their hero lines in order and all the different things you guys have refined and work on, and then taking that to market. You guys can kind of just see the results of your labor over the last few years, and then refining that and getting it to where it needed to be. So we would really want to celebrate you guys in that too. It's super, super amazing, and we're super proud of you guys. AJ, can you remind me where your monthly revenue was when you began the program, like your retail sales online?
Yeah, we were peaking at like 20K a month. It would be like from 16, probably averaged around 18 if you took it all to account, like for the 6 months prior.
Yep, that's what I remember. And then what are you guys at? I don't even know what you're at now, but what is your monthly revenues at in October or
It's hard.
November?
It's here. I'm gonna go to another tab here, but it is hard to keep track of because it's so all over the place. But
I feel like we've been tracking almost at 50, right? Maybe more. I mean, I
yeah,
know
it
the
went.
the
It
Black
went.
Friday sale is definitely gonna make that seem amazing this month,
Yeah.
but
So the last 90 days is 109, but that's heavily influenced by obviously what was happening.
Well, and we also had Ho'omau too. So we had
Yeah,
an
so
event.
we had a few, yeah, exactly, a
We had
few
Ho'omau and we had Black.
fights. So I mean, the idea before we did the Black Friday and before, like, if you exclude these shows that we did that are made like really successful and
Yes, sorry,
really
Josh.
good.
These ones that we do are worth it because
Yeah,
they're
there's a
important.
few a year,
There's
yeah, that
some
we're
big
gonna
ones.
still do.
Yeah.
But so my goal was 30K, and then we reached that pretty quickly, and then the goal was 50K a month, um, and then we kind of hit that
Yeah.
pretty quickly, and then we did the show, and then now it's into Black Friday, so it's a little bit in flux. I hope we exit this Black Friday sale averaging. I want to stay at 50K a month and then make my way to the 100K. So that's the goal at
Yep.
least.
Yep.
And yeah.
That's exciting. So starting out around 16 to 20K over the few months, you guys have grown to 30K pretty quick and now are around that 50K range. Where do you guys see like a clear path forward to in the near future? Like if you're looking out, what do you think is reasonable to start achieving consistently in the first quarter even?
This is something, I'll just go first, but I think what I see now is that because of the investment of customer acquisition that we've done, like, this is costing obviously a lot of money. It's not, uh, now we focus on developing products for our customer base. And that's like, if we build this customer base that's like ours, that we can really like stand on, it's like, we have people now that will like receive marketing from us, and like there's people that are listening and they know about it and all that stuff. If we now, kind of drill down, expand what people love, and then really maybe bring a few new products to market that like will fit in that ecosystem, then I think that's how we'll maybe do like a sustainable, we'll just, I don't know, keep going, I guess is the idea. But like, yeah, you guys can probably, Alana or Kainoa can expand on that.
I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say that I think there's two areas where I'm excited to kind of drive forward on this. And I think, AJ has been leading the charge on this and has really zeroed in on like really interesting and exciting options of like understanding that like our Preo line is resonating, and really driving forward and kind of being that company, and taking advantage of that market is a huge thing, and opening up the variety options and things like that is a super important aspect and thing that I want to kind of drive forward on. I think like kind of what he said, this customer acquisition thing, especially through this Black Friday sale, I was just looking at how many people were in Hawaii and how many people were on the same island as us, and all of that. And, we're definitely seeing mainland customers. We're definitely seeing that expansion and that growth. But what's really exciting is like this kind of stepping into another level of being that Hawaii company, and being that brand that's really resonating here in Hawaii. And we're hearing it back in the community too, where people are going, "Whoa, you guys are much bigger than we thought you were. You guys are really coming into, and we're hearing that from our peers when we go to these kind of events that Alana's referring to. We're hearing it from customers. It's really exciting. And so I think there's a little bit of opportunity there to play the game now that we have the list of exclusive releases and really cultivate what the benefits are of being on our list and being part of our customer base, being an insider,
I love that.
that we can really start to generate that return customer, really start to kind of make people feel like they're watching us closely because there's exciting things happening here.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the two areas that I see growth in. And, I'm kind of with AJ. Like if we can really hit that, like that 75, 100K mark every month, you know what I mean? We're going to be firing. And I think that's the secret sauce, right? We've been struggling, and I know AJ's been just pushing the dead battery truck up the mountain here. Just, it's happening, slowly, but like it's been like, do we focus on this? What comes first, the sales or the effort? Yeah. And so he's really been like really driving that, and it's really exciting now because I think we can really pour a lot more time and effort into this.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you guys say are some of your biggest goals or things you want to see happen, let's say in the next 90 days? Like let's fast forward a little bit and start that like after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So after that's all done, it's crazy, it's busy up to that point. But if you look into December, January, February, even into March, what would you say are some of the big goals you guys have to accomplish? And then how can we come along and support that?
Mine is to grow our mainland audience because, it's interesting. Since doing all this, obviously the whole reason why AJ got into this, like with working with you folks and just growing our business, was because it was like, oh, there's got to be more than what's here in Hawaii. But like 90% of all of our orders are coming from Hawaii. And I'm always like, God, don't people have enough pareo? But they don't, clearly. So, and we have this weather pretty much all year round. So like pareo is life. And it makes sense that we have it pumping, all throughout the year. But I know that there's so much potential. People are always going on holidays and they're trying to escape
Exactly.
the winter.
Yep.
And I really this is obviously different because it's in the wholesale universe, but I'm going to do Surf Expo in January because I'm hungry to get more
Yeah.
coastal shops. And like the whole concept of like a surf shop is universal. Even where I grew up in Toronto and Canada,
Yep.
like
Yep.
surf shops with no surf around. It's just like a surf shop is a surf shop that
Yep.
everyone wants to go and get,
So true.
stuff from surf culture. And we represent that. We represent beach culture and surf culture. And so I'm wanting to tap into a whole new audience. Obviously, like we're going to come out with new stuff for our customers that we've acquired, like AJ was just talking about. We want to take care of them. But it's like what we currently have is brand new for an audience that we haven't even tapped into. And so I'm really
Totally. Yeah.
in expanding that and trying to figure out how the heck to do that
Well, the
personally.
cool, powerful thing with that too is that you're accumulating really good data right now of what success is. And that doesn't really transpire with a geographical area, right? We're looking for people that have those same values, like you said, that beach culture, that surf culture, all across the United States and eventually across the world. But for sure, there's just as many people in Minnesota and Michigan and Alaska that love going to Hawaii for a vacation, right? And do that quite regularly, as well as people that are throughout, the California coastline and Florida specifically, I think about that, absolutely want to live that lifestyle year round, that are actually capable. Even if it's not just vacation time, but having that culture there. So good. So I told AJ from the start, I think that the audience out there is so untapped. There's just so many more millions of people you guys don't even know about. But it is cool to be building on success in the short term and teaching the algorithm what is really successful. What are the buying type of indicators, so then you can translate that at a bigger picture. So I think you guys are doing it great. It's so cool. Was there another goal you had there, Alana? I didn't want to
No,
cut you
I
out
mean,
there.
I'm sure I do, but that is the biggest one. Like for
I love it.
2025,
Yep.
it's
Huge.
yeah.
That's so much potential. I love that big picture. That's huge. AJ, I know I want to hear yours too.
To take a break.
To
Yes.
take a break. Yeah. Yes.
That's my big December goal. But that's yeah. It's like I'm just gonna like try to hyper focus on like product development, because I think the biggest thing for me that like I see in our analytics is return customer rate is our big untapped. We're not taking advantage of that. Like we don't have a high return customer rate, and I feel that's because we just tend to have a slower turnaround of items. And
Yeah.
once they see our line, like they come back 2 months later and it's hasn't changed a whole lot.
Because we
Right.
haven't been operating like a fashion brand because
Yeah.
I
Something we can improve upon.
did not want to embrace that, but I'm changing, obviously, because that is literally going to be the only way,
Yeah.
because I was always under this impression like, oh, we're accessories. we can stay like this for a long time. But it's true. It's like, okay, it's fine, but it's like kind of like a one and done. And that's why, I'm just really trying to change my mindset, because for wholesale, right, for all these shops that we're in like 175 stores all throughout the state of Hawaii. And like all of these stores are catering to visitors who come. So it's like they have a new customer base
Yes.
every single week, pretty much,
Yes. Yep.
And so
Yep.
it's like for them, it's the first time they're seeing it. But then for our customers, it's like, oh, this is it. And so it's like all we have is when we come out with new stuff. So
Totally.
I'm definitely changing my mindset. But it's a lot of it was how I was thinking, because
Yeah.
wholesale was always like the only thing I cared about.
I love that. As you start, those hand in hand with, you're going to grow your mainline audience regardless of with what you have right now. But if you don't have something to keep bringing them back with that lifetime value, it just becomes expensive. It's not that you can't grow. There's a lot of audience out there that you guys are going to be amazed, like, holy cow, this is a landslide. And at some point, those people will have experienced you and want more. And we do have to have that audience. The cool thing is, you have that ability now locally to test and see what your
Yeah.
audience wants more of, right? And so you don't necessarily, you have like these different markets where you can test the loyal established client and see if they like it before you go to market in Minnesota or you go
Yeah.
to market in Florida. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. But at the same time, I love the hyper focus, AJ, on the product development, because that's really going to push that return customer rate, that lifetime value. And every successful online store really capitalizes on that return customer long term. That's got to be a big part of the strategy. So I love that.
And what's interesting too, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this company called Aloha Collection. They make
Mm,
Tyvek bags. It's like a humongous cult here,
okay.
And what's interesting is they, from my removed perception, seem like they were really trying to expand on the mainland in California and just like really have like a solid presence there. And it seems like they do, but it's nothing in comparison to what they have here. And it just seems like they're really focusing their efforts here. Like it is working over there, but not like it's working over here, because it's just a very like kind of, I don't know. I thought it would, but I always think back like, is that gonna happen to us? But I feel like we can be a little bit more versatile than what they do. I mean, their whole thing is like Tyvek bags, which is amazing.
Yep.
It's a
I'm
incredible
looking at
product.
that.
But
Yeah.
I just feel like we have a lot of similarities in terms of like the potential of like growth and everything. But it is interesting that from my limited perception, it seems like their whole focus is what they're doing here.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, they got a great website. I like their website. I just pulled that up there. So very cool. They do have a lot of, it's interesting just looking through. I have to go through this social proofing by Forbes, US Weekly, Travel Leisure. I'd have to go through more of that. But I do think a lot of times it's so funny how something special, Alaska, can just translate to so many different states, even though it's focused on Alaska culture. It's just still
Yeah.
so exportable. People almost just like taking what you guys have in Hawaii to other places, even if that's not their normal course of what they live
Yeah.
out. People love this idea of another place that they can bring to their home. And so I think there's
Yeah.
still a lot of stuff to build on there. It's exciting, guys. I think there's so much potential. Was there any other goals you had, AJ? I don't want to cut you off, but I also want to hear what Kainoa has too on the kind of goal list, specifically over the next quarter.
Not really. Take it away, Kainoa.
Right. I mean, my personal probably top of the list goal is to be more involved and wrap my head around all of this, I think, it's amazing that AJ's been carrying the water on this. And so for me, just being able to I'm an ideas suggestion person. And so I want to make sure that I'm understanding what's happening in the operation here and what's been tried and what we're going to be trying to be able to make informed suggestions and adjustments. I do feel like I have a really good sense of our brand and our customer base and just everything where we've been, to help inform where we're going. And so that's probably my top goal, on the customer side, for the next quarter. I'm really excited about what AJ mentioned about, just that return customer rate, cultivating that customer base, incentivizing that, really trying to dial that in. I think online exclusives, it's to Alana's point too, there's been, especially post-COVID, and probably a little bit before that, there was kind of this explosion of like companies, I wouldn't say similar to ours, but just this style of thing, Hawaii accessories, things that are very kind of like, there's been this appetite for kind of like authentically Hawaii products and lines and things like that. We've all grew up with surf culture here, we've all grown up with beach culture here, but people are looking for something a little bit more, something that has a little more substance. And I think Alana's done a really great job of like navigating the brand development on that, and just really giving us stuff that like that customer is going, yes, this, like our last launch of the Ocean Dreamer series was like, it was just full of that. You know what I mean? Hawaiian Airlines was the same. You know what I mean? It was exactly what our customer is looking for. It's what gets them excited. So I think continuing that aspect of like making sure the product really fits and resonates with the customer will help with this whole return customer rate. But then, what AJ's been doing, this whole sales and like playing the game, you know what I mean? And really understanding that, understanding how the ads work and how to feed the beast. Like what Alana said,
Yeah.
it's like we have been building our customer, I mean, our product lineup and the way we change our styles more conservatively because A, we had a wholesale thing and that was a little more forgiving. And B, we were just trying to be cost conscious, you know what I mean? And not have just too much at once, and everything. But Manjari, AJ's wife, and I we were fulfilling orders having this conversation about like being less freaked out about having product that doesn't sell because we can like store it and we can go, okay, at the end of the year, we know this stuff is going to move because we're going to do this big sale and suddenly people are going to get a discount and we are just clearing out of everything that we were worried about. You know what I mean? And people are
Yeah.
so happy to take it off our hands.
Right.
And yeah, and so that was amazing. That was such a big relief that we were kind of navigating. So that's a huge thing that I think. And then yeah, to Alana's goal, like, I think continuing to take that like authentic Hawaii-based brand, you know what I mean? That is like, Alana had this idea of like she's going to Surf Expo and she's like being there, being like, we are Hawaii's hottest selling pareo,
Yeah.
which is a claim we can kind of confidently stand on. And like you said, other areas like to be on trend with what's happening. And, Hawaii is the birthplace of surfing. Hawaii is like pretty much, if you're talking about beach culture and beach accessories,
Yeah.
we're a leader.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
what we're doing, a lot of people want to follow. And I think that's really exciting to kind of help take that to the mainland. And hopefully, I'd like to see where we can use that to inform our online customers too, and drive that brand development, drive that building that customer base a little bit more on the mainland
Yeah.
outside of this kind of like what Alana's saying, this bubble of Hawaii customers that are amazing and definitely our base customer. That is our core customer here. And we saw that in this last sale. But you know, would love to expand that. So those are my things. I feel like that's a lot.
So
uh,
good. No, I love it. I love it.
Probably
So
first
good.
quarter and beyond. Yeah.
No, it's good. We got to start somewhere. This is one of the things we were going over with AJ and the team. Were just the need to, especially in a company that has multiple leaders such as yourselves, Robbie, Danny, and me constantly have to meet every quarter to vision and then refine and then clear out the path and help implement. So every 3 months, we're going into this kind of mini summit, if you will. We do a big one at the start of the year, and then we do incrementally these smaller ones just to really, what is the big picture? Where are we going? And then what are we going to work on in the next 90 days and keep kind of going in that little
Yeah.
hopscotch like way.